Okay, so video today on how to change your rear brakes and parking brake cables on a Type 1 Beetle. Mine e-brake cable's stretched and having some problems, so I decided to just go through and rebuild it all, replace the wheel cylinders, the parking brake shoes. I am going to clean up and reuse all the hardware for everything, the adjusters and stuff like that. So you'll see that part as I go along, and hopefully there'll be enough light for you guys to see what I'm doing here. Now, the way I do this might be backwards from other people, but this is the way I do it, and yeah, it works for me. So you want to remove the springs and retaining pins first that locate the shoes. Oh, there goes my light. Set those aside to be able to reuse them. And what I'll do is pop off this side real quick. Set that aside. Grab my pliers. As you can see, my cables are stretched enough that I actually can just pop these off by hand. So now that that's out of the way, what we'll do is pop out the bottom spring, and then pop out the top. Usually I use wire dikes for this, simply because you can get a little bit better grip on the spring itself, but pliers work too. And then you can slip that whole assembly off, pop the springs out, set that aside. This arm we are going to be reusing and reinstalling on the new shoes. So what you're going to have to do is spread this little clamp, spread this apart and push it off, then you can pull the pin and this arm off. So don't mind me, I'm all over the place today. Find my, grab this. I'm just gonna use this little short pry bar. You can wedge it in here kind of sideways, and they usually work pretty good at expanding that out, and you can just slip it right off. Okay, then you just wiggle the arm out, and there's that. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of set this together how it went, so it's easier when I'm putting everything back together. I can remember. So now you can see everything's pretty much stripped down. So then what I do next is pull out the parking shoe adjusters, and I'll clean these up. Just kind of run them in all the way, and that kind of cleans the threads out a little bit. And eventually what we'll do is when we put these back together, I take this all the way apart, and I'll take a wire brush to this, clean up the threads, clean up the whole inside and outside, and then we're going to put anti-seize on here that's high temp. That way these don't lock up on you, and then you have to pull, your wheel, your drum, and everything back off to be able to replace these later. So we'll get to that later. Just kind of put them back into place so I don't lose them. Yeah, see, here's one that somebody didn't anti-seize, and it's locked up. So let's see if I can... Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work on this one. I'll have to hit that with some penetrating oil. I'll just put it back in so I know where it is for now. Yeah, there we go. So now, next, get the light in here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Let's see. We're going to remove the brake line and the bolt that holds the wheel cylinder onto the backing plate. And by the looks of all this, I believe this is all original equipment stuff from 1965. So I'm not going to be surprised if these brake lines or anything like that want to give me a hard time. But just take your time. Best thing I can recommend is hit these with some good quality penetrating oil. I'm using an 11mm line wrench for doing the brake line. That way it gets a better grip on there and you're less likely to round these over as you're loosening the brake line up. Just grab a regular wrench. Well, my hands are being goofy right now.